All good, man. I talk shit, so just don't take me too serious all the time.
Oh no, fuck no, man. Come on. That's what the champs do. Come on, dude.
So Canada, what part of Canada?
Central, I'm in Winnipeg.
Central.
Yeah, it's right in Manitoba. So I was living in
I got to
Vancouver.
study a map. Like
Oh
I fought
fuck.
in Vancouver and I visited Toronto. You like in between the two?
Right in the middle. Yeah, right in the middle. I've lived in
I
both.
fought. Hey, I'm stupid too. I've been to Edmonton and I fought in Calgary.
Oh shit. Okay, I'm headed there in a couple months. It's a good fighting city. It really is.
Elevation.
They just opened up bare knuckle tryouts in Alberta there too recently, a little while ago. So it's been cool.
BKFC or just
Yep,
another bare knuckle.
BKFC had their tryouts there. There was a guy, Drew Stoof. He got a round one knockout at the tryouts. It was pretty sweet.
Do you think there's a correlation between Canada loves hockey? Does Canada like it when the guys start fighting?
Oh fuck yeah, that's
Yeah.
what they live for,
So I'm saying, do you think there's a correlation that like Canadians love fighting?
dude. And we're just at the entry level of like the sport exploding here in Canada. I swear to God, we're like 2 decades behind, Ben. I swear to you, it's nuts. But we're getting there.
For bare knuckle or just fighting in general?
Just fighting in general, being accepted in restaurants, being accepted in mainstream media, even on news outlets. Like when, for example, when UFC Vancouver came, we had 7 wins. It was a 30-second blurb on CBC National News. It does not get much coverage. Same thing on TSN. So the
That
mainstream.
because the people say different because I was in the arena and I was in Toronto and there was 50,000 people.
Yeah.
And we don't even talk about that now. When was the last time the UFC had 50,000 people for an event? Like we're happy when we sell it to T-Mobile. T-Mobile's like 22,000 at
Yeah.
peak. And it's like that's cool. I fought in front of 17,000 people just now at Wells Fargo. It was awesome, incredible. 17,700 people on their feet. The place was packed. It was incredible, dude. Trying 50,000 people, like you guys, and that was fucking years ago.
Yeah,
Years
dude.
ago. So you guys have loved fighting. That just means that all like what you just said is like everything that is outside of that's supposed to be taking care of the people is not.
Yep.
The
Yep.
people
Hands
that are
down.
responsible for the voice of the people aren't listening to people, and that's terrible. It sucks, man.
It leaves a position for this to be open, though. That's why I've done this. Honestly, I swear to God, that's the only reason. I didn't see anyone in the northern part. There's some great interviewers. Ariel Hawani, you were just on there. He's Canadian, but he's living in the U.S. James Lynch, there's a couple different guys. They're all Canadians, but the coverage of the sport in general up here isn't booming that much. So getting back to Philadelphia, being in the fighting capital city, winning that title in front of 17 grand, like that, it's amazing, man. So first off, congratulations on that. I wanted because I've been watching you since early days of UFC. There's a lot of guys that are must see TV, and you're one of them, man. So
Oh well, that's great respect and very much appreciated. Thank you.
yeah, of course.
I try to take a lot of stuff with stride. You know, I'm 43. I'm
Yep.
gonna be 44 in October. I don't even want to say it. Like fuck, man. I did not see myself at 43. You know, being like a Randy Couture type and like humbly much less than his greatness. It's just like 43. I won the BKFC World Heavyweight title, and the sport's never been bigger than it is now. So right now is a great. It was a pretty cool time to win it. It's not what I seen for myself. When I was 33 years old, I think I was capable of winning a world title, and it just didn't happen. Like it was at a lot of things I've went through. So I'm just thankful that I've been able to hold on and stick with it. And I really, really enjoy this. Bare knuckle is a different beast, but it's one that I'm made for.
You truly are. I think I messaged you after your first win, honestly, when you signed in there, and again, have been glued ever since. And honestly, not in that's just fucking new. Like once you get that strap, you even saw us tagging you in the comments when you called for that heavyweight strap. You called, "Do you guys want to see me face for the heavyweight title?" When they crowd, and you said, "Tag me in the comments. Tell them that you want that done," and you made it happen. And this is one thing. It doesn't happen too often where you have the guy saying, "Give me him." That's the best part of this sport, man. And it's lacking right now. It really is. Hearing, "Oh, whoever they put in front of me next." Fuck no. You want to fight the best. Hats off to you for that.
It's good insight
Yeah.
because so many young fighters in the UFC are trying to make names for themselves, and they just as soon as they say that, they're just another one in the shuffle.
Mhm.
I have to look back. What was it like? We see knockouts all the time. We see submissions all the time. When I was in MMA, and what was it that made me viral? I didn't just knock out Alistair Overeem, even though I was a 5-1 underdog. I literally knocked him out, and I didn't know this. It was like we were at the hospital. We thought my forearm got broke, so they took me there to get an X-ray, and I'm in there, and they're showing me the fight. Like Ben, the people that are with me, like, dude, you're blowing up in the internet right now, and I'm like, cool. I just knocked out Overeem. Like, that's cool. Like, what's going on? Like, dude, you jumped around and shit. You were dancing. Like it's all over the internet. And I was just like, kind of like laughing to myself. And then they finally showed it to me. And you know what? The part of it that blew me, like, made me laugh more than anything. As soon as I knocked him out, I got up and I went like this with my hands, like, fuck you. And that shit made me laugh because that whole thing, it wasn't scripted at all. I got up to do something completely different, actually. I wanted to like show my footwork and what I've been working on, and I fucked it up within like the first couple steps, and I went, oh shit. And I just kept moving my feet. And then, Bisping, and everybody's like, oh, the fucking jig, and blah, blah, blah. And everybody's like talking about this dance. And I'm just laughing to myself, like, oh man, did they, like,
Fucking
if
hell.
people knew the truth of that one, and it's just like, no, like, I had no idea. Like, I was literally like taken over for a second. Like, it was an incredible moment. It was like unexplainable and all this stuff. And it's like, I trained really hard for the fight, but that moment was so like surreal and hit on the spot, and there was more of them to come, and winning the title wasn't much different. Just like things just lined up, all of our planets in the solar system lined up on that night. It was just like my emotions were feeling the same way, and it just, it was pretty cool.
Good on you for getting through the camp, like you said to Ariel. It was one of the hardest cuts too that you've had to endure, just that challenge in your life, especially having to deal with a young family and whatnot, and just getting through that in general, man. And then winning that title, like you said, with the planets aligning. I know, like, go back and watch the interview if anyone that does see right now with Ariel. If you haven't seen, I'm not going to go back into old stuff. But there was talk, obviously, about your free agent. Any updates on that side of things? Feldman reach out to you. That tournament looks beautiful. What's anything new there?
Yeah, I hope the tournament goes through. It sounds like a really cool opportunity. You got Conor McGregor dropping Fedor Emelianenko tonight. I'm just like, put me in. I was like, why not? I'm like, fight a legend. I think people are gonna weigh that fight differently too because he's older. He has that going against him, but he's still Fedor.
Yeah,
He's still dangerous. You're crazy if you don't think he's dangerous. It's just
yeah.
like because you put him in there with the right people, he's gonna knock out a bunch of people still.
Hmm.
But you put him in there with me, it's different. Like, so because I'm in a different position right now for in my career.
Yeah,
So you gotta be careful of the matchups. But if the tournament happens and he gets put on the other side of the bracket and he is allowed to knock out some people and I knock out some people and him and I are towards the final, dude, it's an epic fight.
that is.
That's like now we're talking about some crazy shit. We got hype on the fight. That's why I'm calling out guys like Francis Ngannou
Yeah,
and Mark Hunt. No offense to the current heavyweight division, but just like those guys got names. They got
yeah,
crazy knockouts.
yep.
They got me being a huge underdog. I like being the underdog. I fight well that way. So it's a lot of opportunity, a lot of cool stuff going on.
It's not out of the cards, man, especially with who's in the mix right now, the eyes that you're getting. And again, look, going back, Francis fought Fury and then fought AJ, right? So why the fuck not? It would be perfect. It really, truly would, especially at that level. And again, going back to the point of selling out Philly, there's a massive product here that's loved. Excited to see the Italy card. It's like you said too, perfect place to be in right now, especially getting the title right now where BKFC is at. It's beautiful.
So you want to get to know me a little bit?
Fuck yeah, hit me.
You say perfect, but I'd say, oh, I don't know. I think there's a lot of other places that could even be better.
Hit me.
So I'm just saying, like, that's
Yeah,
my point. Is don't you think if you really think about it, couldn't it be better? I don't like to use that word because it puts a ceiling on something, and
true.
I like to believe there's always an ability to make it even better or greater. When martial arts, I don't
Mm,
like when people say that move is perfect. You do it perfectly. Well, that means I'm never going to be able to do that move even better, and I've broken that so many times.
fuck
So I
yeah.
just don't even use that word in that retrospect of everything outside of me, unless I talk about the universe and God. Like that's the only thing you can use that word for. So with martial arts, I
Ooh,
feel like I can always get better. It's never good enough. I always have to achieve better. So I treat everything that way. Like you see the opportunity, it's like you could argue there could be a different time, but what I have right now is awesome, and I'm going to take it. I'm going to run with it, but I'm going to keep trying to get to another moment that's even better yet.
Fucking A, dude. That's the way. Fucking hell. I love that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful, man. I fucking love that. That's the way to be. Um, I saw you had the ribbon cutting ceremony there at Rothwell MMA, the new
Yeah, when you talked about
facility
things that
there.
are holding, like a challenge for this,
Yeah,
my wife and the kids is just being a human. Like I have to be a
yeah.
father. It's kind of like you're supposed to. Now, it isn't make it training for a world championship fight easy, but it's just
Hmm.
like you got to kind of do it. It was my gym. Like my wife and I've been in business for 14 years, and we've purchased a commercial property
Hmm.
about a year ago, and it was estimated to be done in October and November. But if you do commercial real estate and like building and whatnot, it just I was warned, but I'm like, man, I tried to make as much of a cushion as I could,
Hmm.
and I was getting told the fight was all different times. It was like November, December, then it became January 25th. You know what, man? Everything happened the way it happened, and it's great. Like it just flowed, but there was no way I could, guarantee anything. And like I was actually thankful. I was supposed to be in the beginning of November at the latest. We didn't get the gym open until December 26th. And I had to be out of my old gym January 1st. So like I thought I gave myself a 2 month cushion. Dude, I gave myself a few days cushion. Like
Fuck.
yeah, you want to talk about
Fuck.
stress? Like dealing with the kids was break time. Like I had something far worse, and people, everybody around me was like, "Yeah," they're like, "How the hell did you do it?" I have no idea. I'm like, because I'm that good at bare knuckle.
Yeah, and the
That's what
big
I'm gonna
man.
say now. I
Yeah.
proved it to myself. Like I knew it, but I needed to prove it because I'm that good at bare knuckle. That's my new answer.
With that too, and to the boxing side of things, with your you were talking about people don't see your accuracy. They say you're a bit of a brawler. It is the accuracy that does it. You're not knocking guys out with a brawler style. There's tons of brawlers out there. They're not putting guys down like that. So it would translate perfectly. If you could fight any of the heavyweights right now, for like who just fought here in the UK there. Big cut over his head. This was just last weekend. Anyway, um any of the heavyweights in IBF, WBO, WBA, WBC, any of them, who would you call out right now?
You're on through the entire boxing.
Everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, who would you consider as the number one? Usyk, right?
Usyk. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
for
But
him, then. That's
there
who.
we go. There we
You
go.
want me to just compare like him? 100%. Look at me. I'll sign it right now.
Fucking A, dude.
Not even, why wouldn't I? I want to. That's who the world right now in 2025 thinks is the best. That's who I want to fight. Why wouldn't I?
Turkey Al Sheik, make it happen. God almighty.
Yeah.
That would be beautiful. That would be
Now, is it
beautiful.
probable? I mean, the dude has other fights with other guys that are going to probably bring more eyes, but I would do it. It's just maybe a couple more fights like I just had. Maybe I get some interest. That would be pretty incredible, man. What a way to, that really, I really have to put that in the universe more and more. Like, I give, okay, fine, give me another fight that's going to make people go, whoa, Rothwell really is fucking serious. He's legit. And I'm like, yeah, let me fight him. And maybe everybody would be like, oh shit, maybe we'd be interested to see that. That's what it would take to get the fight made.
And dude, you will bring eyes. You will bring as much or more because these other heavyweights are coming to their end right now, man. And you're at just a new beginning with this title. I swear to God. That's that like you said, not putting a ceiling on it, but that is a brand new beginning with that. And being able to call that out too, putting it out there. Like we just said, Ngannou fought fucking AJ and Tyson Fury. Why the fuck not, man? Why the fuck not? Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and he put up a damn good fight with Fury. He had the
Yeah.
whole world talking.
Yeah.
That fight still, even though he got a decision lost, many felt it was a win. It was kind of a black eye of boxing. The fact that he went to a decision, many felt he should have won it.
Hmm.
But there was controversy, there was talk. Well, it's like at least he did his job.
Hmm.
It was the next best thing from actually winning the fight
Hands down.
that he could have did. The second fight, not so good. Like that wasn't good. But he made a boatload of money and could probably walk away and live happily ever after. So good for him.
What do you think of the recent just like it was last week, that 24 hours where all of a sudden Jake Paul was fighting Canelo. Do you follow all that stuff when that pops up
Yeah,
or?
I mean, I kind of my news source. I picked the very highest one, so whatever is like the biggest talked about thing,
Yeah.
and that was it for a few days. That
Yeah.
was like the talk, you know,
Hmm.
uh,
And then
making
just
that fight.
dissipating. Yeah.
But then, like you said, the sheik came in and put a kibosh to that pretty quick. So
The
it's kind of
YouTube
funny.
the YouTube belt they can fight for.
He had to flex. He had to flex a little bit.
Yeah, just a
So
bit,
it's
man.
pretty funny. That talk about that somebody I'd like to fight for. Definitely. I don't like going overseas, but MMA was rough for me. But every time I went over, I went to Japan and I did shoot box, which is primarily on this fight. I won. Like I did really well.
Hmm.
So I feel like if MMA, I've proven not to do so well when I go overseas. But striking is obviously my number one, and when I do that, I can do it pretty much. I feel anywhere. So I would like to believe that I could go, you know, to Dubai and Saudi Arabia and perform like I do. I think I could definitely make myself a even more worldwide name.
Let me throw a curveball. Let's say Chatri Sityodtong called you for the one championship heavyweight belt, whether it be Muay Thai or MMA. Would you step in?
That's where first round management comes in.
Yes,
So
yes,
my
yeah.
manager comes in and has to also like, does this make sense?
Yeah,
You
of
know,
course, of
I
course.
know a fight against the number
Does
one
does
considered
one
boxer on the
interest you
planet.
personally? Does one interest you personally?
Well, I don't. I'm not hearing good things from fellow fighters like
Hmm.
talking to each other. When you talk about major headlines, there was actually a couple days worth of good headlines of one's not, treating fighters so nice, and
Not releasing, yeah.
certainly not foreign fighters, which I would be. Just not good publicity.
Hmm.
You hear a lot of when a company's not making money, how can they treat the fighters well? Like that's not
Yeah.
good for anybody. I'm always saying since Dave back in my first fight in the BKFC, I want David Feldman to make as much money as possibly can. He's
Hmm.
making money, then we're all doing good,
Fuck yeah.
and that's just kind of the way I go about it. But he's somebody I like fighting for too.
Yeah,
Like
man.
now that I get to know the company, the people involved, it's not like what I came from, and I've been through a lot. I've had a lot of different promoters and people I've fought for, and I'm like I said, I'm proud to fight for Dave and the organization. Uh, Definitely some good people.
I've shot him a couple messages and he's checked and given me a message back and just on how he has, and even the fact that once you did call for it, you got it. And it's been that the case for that for a lot of fighters for the organization. And it is good to see, man. It really fucking is. And it's good to hear that from a fighter that they are enjoying their promoter. That's usually not the case most of the time I should say. With some
It's
of the
also
fighters.
cool to fight a fight. When I promote shows, I like to believe that guys fighting on my cards. I've had nine shows, and I like to believe that the guys they know it. They all knew me.
Mhm.
Like this is right after I had knocked out Alistair Overeem, that fight I was talking about. I had a show like 3 weeks later.
Mhm.
It was a pretty cool time because I just got off a big win. I'm at the show. I'm kind of like my own celebrity at this thing.
Fuck
But I
yeah.
felt like the fighters, like it's different. Like they're fighting for me. They're like they know that I know them,
Yeah.
and that's I feel like Dave Feldman. Like he's got in there. He's scrapped. Like it's different. It's
Mhm.
different when you can relate and have that bond.
And
You
hearing
know,
his fight through, obviously cancer and starting it in a warehouse with fucking 2 dozen guys watching, for God's sakes, to selling out the fight city, the capital fighting city of the goddamn planet. So fucking beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. What's your schedule like aside from gym life? Do you have obligations going to some of the bare knuckle events now that you're the big guy there?
nothing obligated. I put it out there that I want to be there. I told in some of my interviews, you've heard me say, I want to go to every event.
Yeah.
It's just not with the amount and where they're at. It's not realistic.
Hmm.
But I do want to get there. It's like what I'm trying to tell the fans is that if you see me there, don't even hesitate to come say hi, get a picture, ask for an autograph. It's what I'm there for. It's really what I'm there for first. I
Hmm.
want to support the company, but watching the fights, I've watched some crazy amount of fights. I don't even want to put a number on it, through my lifetime.
Yeah.
It's like I could watch a replay of the fight. The opportunity to meet the fan right now, this is like, I may never meet them again. And they're happy to meet me, get a photo with me. Like, I will die with that feeling that it's always going to be grateful and excited for that. The fact that someone's excited to meet me makes me excited. Like, it's an accomplishment in a sense, you know what I mean? And I don't ever want to lose that. I grew up young watching superstars treat people poorly like that, and it made me crazy, angry, a lot of negative feelings. And I don't want to think about that anymore. I just want to be positive and excited. And it's been one of the coolest parts of my career, I can honestly say.
That's I've spoken with a promoter that worked with Ali till the day he died, and he said exactly what Ali would do, man. And in a totally different comparison, but of just a heavyweight that loves the fans and knows why he's at his position is because of them. Obviously because of his talents, but the fans themselves. And doing that in turn makes a fan for life. You take that 10 seconds to give them eye contact, a handshake, a slap on the shoulder, whatever the fuck. It truly creates a fan for life, and it is beautiful. That's the way. And a lot more guys are turning to that now. I've seen, especially that it's been talked about. Long. It seems like almost long gone are the days of that douchey champion that won't give anyone some time. It does seem to be turning, so it's nice to see that, and then to have guys like yourself at the forefront of that, openly saying, "Come and fucking see me. Come and bug me. I'll be there."
I think it's important for everyone that's in my position, the higher in my position, whatever it is, we have to set the culture because it's the guys, guys want to get to this position. We need to show like you need to act like this.
Mhm.
We have to remember why we get this. Why are we getting to do this? What is this truly about? Because if you're only worried about yourself, then I leave it on me to say the sports should eat you up and chew you out and be done with you because you messed up, you failed. Remember, like, this is such an incredible opportunity, and always remember what it's about. Because for me, it's like it's got to be that something greater than money can buy, and having that interaction with strangers, like what a crazy thing. I'm talking about all religions, all colors. Like I hate even the sport has molded me into something completely different that I wish I could share with the planet. Like you hear people say it, but it's like I don't. I feel it. I feel it. We all have the same colored blood. We're the same. Like I don't. I hate describing people like because we're humans. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And the sport like drove that into me, and the fans coming up and meeting me made me that really treat me like world peace. Like I have to be an ambassador for that. I know many people out there are angry and they say it's cliche and they say blah blah blah. I
Mhm.
have to not care about their thoughts and remember to just stick to what I'm doing. Like I truly have to love everyone because that's why I get to be here. Because when you look out in the stands of 17,700 people, everybody I seen people from around the world there. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
literally everybody came together and they were all cheering. So it's like, hey, take a second, look around at your neighbor. We're all excited about the same thing. So we should all be happy because we all have something in common. And how cool is that?
And how many millions were tuned in that night too, on top of that, right? Not just those 17. It's millions around the planet, dude. That is it's bigger than anyone individually, bigger than Feldman, yourself, anyone, bigger than the title. And that is one of the best parts of the sport, whether it be bare knuckle, Muay Thai, MMA, whatever the fuck. Fighting in general, it really is the purest form of that. I guess you could say that about football, anything really. Just bringing folks together for that, really. Doesn't need to omit anything. That is fucking awesome. I see you as a perfect movie villain on the other side of things.
Can always be better though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
I'm getting that said more to me. I've dreamed about being in movies since I was a little kid. Of course I want to be in a movie. Of course I want to like act out all these things, and I grew up like when I was growing up in high school, like some of the upperclassmen I had like were neighbors. My parents had 3 acres. I lived out in the county, so to speak. There's 20 kids in my grade school, like per class. But I was like in a small, like I hear other schools like they act like high schools when they're in grade school. So I came from a small town, so to speak. I grew up with 20 kids. It was small, and I was lived in this my parents' yard and stuff. It was just like I had to entertain myself. You know what I mean? I didn't have my closest friend was like a mile and a half away.
oh
When
yeah,
you're 8 years old, you just
yeah.
don't ride your bike there. Like
No,
no, like I would see my friends at school and maybe I'd get to see him on the weekends once in a while. But like, I had to entertain myself, so I'd go outside and I'd take a stick, I'd beat the shit out of trees and stuff, like because I'd pretend, and I'd
Yeah,
like
man.
act things out. Well, some of those older kids drove by and they'd see, with their parents or whatever, but they'd see me. They're like, that kid's fucking crazy. They're like, because as the years went on, it was like people would talk about it. Like, yeah, Benham's that fucking crazy kid beating the tree with sticks and shit. And I was just like, hey, man, you know, TV, video games weren't even like could barely play them and stuff like that. So like, I had to come up with ways to entertain myself.
Oh my
So
God.
in that, I feel like I've been like a movie villain for like ever.
Oh
You know
my
what I mean?
God.
It's like, yeah, of course I'd like to do that.
The
I think
next
I could be good at it.
Expendables, if there's another fucking Expendables, you have to be the main villain on the other side on the bad guys. I swear to God, man.
I
You
want to
should
be
do it.
something like this. I'll tell you what my role. If you were to put me in that movie, some
Yeah,
corny ass fucking movie, I don't even get to be in an epic movie. I'd be some corny ass action movie. I want to be the one thing that gets talked about in the corny ass movie. Be like, man, all those actors that I've watched for years that influenced me 100%. They're whatever. They're playing their roles, but I want to be like the main bad guy. The main bad guy is some like business dude. He's all calculated. He's got
yeah,
this big epic plan, right? Ever. I'm like his lead assassin henchman like
yeah,
type of guy.
yeah,
But like I kind of come into the scenes like have my own introduction of like wiping out some like a whole bunch of the good guys and like towards the end of the movie I don't end up dying though. So I'm like swearing I get out of it. They take out the main bad guy, but like
yeah.
I'm left in the shadows.
You're the sequel's main bad guy. That's what it is. It's like you would be a John Wick, the bad boss's henchman in the sequel, hands
Well,
down.
was it cool? Was Senator Palpatine? Was the Emperor like? Do we love him? He was the head bigger, or was it Darth Vader?
Yeah, true, true,
Darth
hands
Vader's,
down.
you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I want to be that, like the fucking baddest of the bad.
Oh my God. So I see you got a good guy in your gym, Cody. He's got a fight coming up next month here.
Cody Lynn,
Yes. Tell me about Cody. How did he get introduced to the gym, and how he's progressed?
mom and dad just brought him in to learn self defense. I think
Nice.
we got to talk more about that. He's been with me since he was 11.
Yeah,
And
that's a deep career right there then.
and did all his amateur fights and 9-2. But he's Anthony Pettis fighting championships in March 23rd. It's a Sunday. Gets he's fighting for the title. So
That's
done
awesome.
a great job. Uh, just one of the just is like I train. I'm gonna name off Pat Militish, Matt Hughes, Tim Sylvia, Jens Pulver because I was at Militish during that period of time. One of the best gyms in the world, really for
Fuck yeah.
mixed martial arts. I've been in other gyms and all that, and Cody's by far the best mixed martial artist I've ever been around because of his attitude, his work ethic, all the things that he puts in. He's so pure, and just to watch him from a young age to where he is now, it's incredible.
Nice.
A lot of us started. We're like adults. I was 17, so I was considered super young. When MMA started, guys were like in their 20s and 30s, and that's when they would pick it up and start doing it. So they had all sorts of baggage, bad habits, all sorts of shit. You know what I mean? A lot of wrestlers did really well because they wrestled, but like a lot of them back when the sport started, they didn't wrestle for a few years again. They got in their mid 20s and 30s, and then they came in was fighting, brought it all back out. But just seen a lot of like bad habits, bad um, like conditioning wise, like to make mistakes. Like a lot of wrestlers would turn the wrong way when they shouldn't in a fight, like turning into their stomach. Well,
Yeah.
I don't want to get pinned. Well, in a fight, you get choked.
Yeah.
So in the earlier, that's when I started. Like people were like, "What are you talking about?" Like, yeah, that's how it was back then. And Cody was like someone I got to witness where he didn't even have any of that. He
Mm.
literally started fighting. Like we were teaching him as much as we could, like 11, 12, 13 years old. The kid was coming into my fight team. I wanted him to get an eye of it because he was like so different from the rest of the kids that he was watching and learning 13, 14 years old with our fight team.
Dude.
Watching me train for UFC fights and like how it was done. And it's pretty awesome to see where he's at now and like how much knowledge he has. how much more advanced he is than when I was 24. It's not even
Yeah,
not
yeah.
even comparable in the slightest, you
No,
know.
it's there's a new generation in that sense of these kids of fighters and who've
Oh
been
yeah,
around that game and then they're
definitely
born
big
they're
time.
fucking just bred. There's something different in the milk that they fucking drink. I was lucky enough to speak to Anderson Silva's son Gabriel. He had a boxing match a little while ago. We were there to cover it there, but just growing up around that, for fucking 5 years, you're living with Ed Soros for God's sakes. And then, you all of a sudden you want to start fighting, and your dad's like, "Oh shit, okay, all right, let's go." So both of his sons fighting, and there's guys all around the world that are at this level that we're gonna see in 5, 10 years, an entire new generation of superstars coming out of all of this too. It's fucking nuts in every practice too, not just boxing.
Agreed.
Yeah, man. Yeah. For Anthony Pettis, his is that on Fight Pass or does he have a pay-per-view or how do folks tune in for that?
Fight Pass.
It is on Fight
Most of the
Pass.
shows, I'm most certain. This one in March is a Fight Pass.
Okay.
He does do some smaller ones that aren't, but most of his big ones, they've been UFC Fight Pass. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. We'll make sure to tune in, man. We do like to keep it short and sweet. I know you're a busy man, so I do appreciate the time. If there was anything else that you wanted to cover, just tell the folks yourself.
If you
But
had any, I mean, if I'm boring, you want to get rid of me, totally understand.
never,
If you had
never,
a couple
never.
questions on top of your head, because I did carve out some time for you. I don't know how
If you
long we've
got
been on,
time,
but
yeah, if you got the time, that's awesome. Fuck
but
yeah.
if you got a couple questions you want to knock out quick, I mean, I appreciate you respecting my time.
Yeah,
I don't want
man.
to be here all night, but I couldn't help you knock out a couple questions. I feel like maybe you didn't get everything you wanted.
Awesome. Fucking A. Fucking A. Okay. I mean, I guess for myself personally, what has been your favorite performance outside of the Alistair Overeem? That seems like it might have been one of the best
Oh,
ones for yourself.
Josh Burnett. Josh Burnett
Oh, okay.
tops. I'll start over him. I just didn't bring it up because I didn't do anything cool after the fight. The submission, see, I didn't really get into all that,
Yeah.
but it was just like, I'll give you two extremes then. Alistair Irving was my dance that got talked about the most. When I submitted Josh Burnett, it was the submission. I submitted Josh. That's what Joe
Mm.
Rogan talked about. And then everybody in the world knew, like, Dana White respected me completely different after that fight. Like, he did, but they were kind of like, but when I submitted Josh Burnett, everything, people were like, I was recognized as a true world class fighter. Like I could feel it the way they talked to me. Everything was different then. So that was the actual act of fighting.
Hmm.
In the middle, I did both. I submitted Matt Mitrione with the go go at the time. You know, it was like they nicknamed the Bear Trap, but
Yeah.
it was a choke that I do. And that was the first time anybody really seen it. And it was so effective. It was 2 minutes. The fight was like 2 minutes. It was clean. But nobody really talked about that. It was my interview with John Anik, and I did the laugh,
Yeah.
and that shit probably made me the most. That probably made me the most famous out of all of this, out of everything we talked about. That shit gets talked about. You know, it rippled through history, and it's incredible. It was something that I did. You know, people are like, "Oh, that shit was acted." I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna deny that in my garage when I would do my cardio, I have a full out gym. Like my garage, it wasn't a garage; it's a
Yeah.
gym. So
Yeah.
in my personal gym, when I'm sitting there hitting the cardio and my heart rate breaks a certain point because I use a heart rate monitor, I would start thinking about the fight. And I would get into it and I would like start saying stuff and reenacting stuff. And I got it when I was fighting Matt, I didn't like him. He was kind of like he was the guy that was like, "Oh, Ben," and he'd stick me with a knife in the back while he's patting me on the back. You know,
Yeah.
I got that. You know, I was just mad about that.
Yeah.
It's like, and him and Duke Rufus did some shit to me when like I came into some shit that I didn't even know. I thought we were all cool, and then Red Schaefer and some people said, "No, man." Before you got there, they had a meeting and they were going to beat the shit out of you. They wanted to hurt you. They wanted to do something bad to you. I had no idea. I didn't know that he was mad at me. I thought we were cool. And Pat Barry and I were cool, but Pat was like, "Yeah, I wasn't allowed to say anything or I was getting kicked out." I'm like, "That's fucked up that was put against me." And Matt ended up fucking, I got a blood. I don't ever bleed in practice really unless it's dry, like not from getting hit. And that dude fucking late, he gave me his hardest shot in the nose. And I still trained 2 more rounds after that. But I didn't know what was going on yet. And I was kind of like this motherfucker. And anytime I started to get like come back, they'd put Pat Barry or Red Schaefer in. And I'm not gonna hurt those guys. Or like my you know, when I did go there, that was like guys I trained with. So I was like, I'd back off again. They'd get me tired, then he'd throw Matt in on me. And I didn't know what was going on. And then when this practice was done, I was getting talked to like really shitty. And I was just like, I still didn't get it, but I was like, well, fuck you guys. So anyway, that shit always pissed me off for a long time. And I didn't say anything to anybody. And then there was like years later, the story came out of what was actually going on, and that's when I found. I'm like, really, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I didn't find all that out till after I fought Matt. When I fought Matt, I was pissed off, and when I'm mad, I fight my best. And it's true. Like I
Fuck
don't
yeah.
fucking lose when I'm mad.
Yeah.
I lose when I respect the guy too much, and I'm too. I try to be calm,
Yeah.
and I lose. I fight like shit.
Yeah.
But I was pissed off at that motherfucker, and I submitted him. Yeah, 2 minutes, and I get up and I fucking laugh, and that shit rippled in history. And it wasn't even the choke, man. It was that. I just gave you a whole bunch of history. Look, I just went on some crazy
Just like
tangent with
that.
all of
That's
it.
perfect. Okay, next one. Next one. Ariel talked about it in the interview. I didn't know about this. What was the fight he told you? He asked you about if you were sure that you wanted to take it and if it was the right decision. That one where, yeah.
Junior Dos Santos.
Oh, it was Junior Dos Santos. Okay.
I'm on a 4 fight win streak in the
Yeah.
UFC at the heavyweight division.
Okay.
I was like, it was me and Alistar. And outside of that, that didn't happen very often. It happens a little more now, but then I was like, I didn't realize how valuable I was because a 3 fight win streak typically got you a title fight at the heavyweight back then. I was a 4 fight win streak. They loved Alistar Overeem.
Yeah.
They loved him. They always try to fucking get him there. They wanted to see him get the belt. Like they
Hmm.
pushed him in every way they could to get there. They didn't. I wasn't in that favor. And I beat Josh Burnett, and they were kind of like, all right, like, let's see. And they needed a main event for Croatia because I don't know who's Junior's opponent was supposed to be. He backed out, injured. I don't know. But I got like main event. And I honestly was like, I got this. I'm like, I'll fucking smack him around. Maybe I was cocky, but I was really confident. I was on a 4 fight win streak, and I was beating the top dudes. And like I thought Josh Burnett could beat fucking Junior no problem. You know, I even and Elstar had then just beat Junior, he knocked him out. So I beat two of the guys. I'm like, I got this. Little did I know that going overseas, dealing with Croatia, other fucketry that doesn't even matter because I can't prove anything. I can't fucking anything. It was a fucking epic mistake and it fucked me royally.
Back to not feeling like yourself for Junior Dos Santos there.
Well, that was the fight. That was the fight you asked what
Yeah.
area of the one he asked. That was a 4 fight win streak.
Yeah.
It wasn't a smart fight. He was on a loss and he was like ninth in the rankings, and I was basically set up for a title fight. So
Mm.
it was a bad choice, bad move.
Fuck. And yeah, that just kind of created that exit into the UFC, and that's where that birth of BKFC began. And in a short way, I guess here we are. But that's a gap right there. So, um, dude, it's pretty cool to be able to chat with guys like yourself, and even how you put me in the place earlier, saying never wanting to put a ceiling on these things, man. Like, did you go to church growing up, Ben?
No, I didn't invest any time into any kind of religion aspect until some in my 20s. And when I was at Pat Militish, a Bible study got started. And then it was through that I, started to hear the words from the Bible, trying to explain what Jesus' place was, trying to
Mhm.
understand things of the Old Testament. And I was always open to have an argument because I always had questions. So that all came to an end, though.
Mhm. Just in a natural way, or was it kind of rough how it ended?
No,
Don't mind me asking.
the guy named Keith Nestor, who ran the Bible study. I went to this Bible study for almost 6 years,
Mhm.
and we got into it. We had Brock Lesnar had showed up, many
Dang.
of the fighters. Pat Militish would come almost to every one of them, and I kind of became like an individual that they would see him pretty much it was every Wednesday. And there was about like 15 of us on a minimum. But like I said, we'd sometimes have more than that. So we kind of kept it private, but we always did it at Militich's gym. It was called Champions Bible Study, right?
Hmm.
So Keith Nestor led it though. He was an actual pastor. He had rose in the 6 years. He'd started a very small church. He got a lot of the community behind him. He got enough funding to open an old building that became the legacy, you know, church of the Quad Cities, this Christian church in the Quad
Ooh.
Cities, this legacy. So it was like this guy was like becoming a rock star in the pastor world, I would say.
Yeah.
And uh it got down to that my wife and I were like, gonna be wife. We're like, yeah, we liked everything about it. I went to this thing for 6 years. He's like, we asked him to marry us. So months, this was like months in advance, of course, getting married, you plan stuff. And this guy even had so much of it. Me and Jen meet and talking about maybe, you guys don't want to live together for so many months and trying to be like all these religious reasons and things like that. And we were like, yeah, we hear you, but we're good. We're gonna do what we're doing. But it was just funny. I just note that because he was like trying to be like so proper, like trying to give us a marriage advice. So where I'm going with the story is 2 days before I'm supposed to get married, I get a phone call, and it's one of the guys from the Bible study, and he has this dreadful voice, and I'm like, "What's wrong, man?" And he's like, "Keith's not gonna be able to be there to marry you," and I'm like, oh my god, like this guy's supposed to marry us in 2 days. What am I gonna do? I'm like, was he okay? I'm like, what is it? And they're like, well, he has 11 staples in his head, collapsed lung, fractured face, orbital, all this. I'm like, oh my God, like, did his car get hit by a semi? Like, what's going on? They're like, no, he was beat up and he named the guy who Pat Milicic knew. He was a former Secret Service, like,
Wow.
former FBI. Like, this guy was a badass.
What?
Beat the shit out of him, like, and I'm like, because Keith was cheating on with his wife. Oh, like that's the bigger bomb. Here's this guy, this pastor, this Christian pastor
Fuck.
of the Quad Cities, who the whole community got behind, was fucking one of his people at the church.
Dude.
And I'm supposed to get married by this guy in 2 days, and I'm just like, my mind was just like. So it's a whole. We don't have enough time for me to tell you how I like rebounded from this, and we found a church in Kenosha where I'm from. They were coming from the Quad Cities to marry us in Kenosha. A Kenosha pastor who Jen and I met within 2 days took care of it. We got everything came together, and her and I got married. Everything was great. But that
2 days.
shattered my like I was already like there was times when I was like 18, 19 years old, I would say I was atheist. And then I had a horrific car accident. Not now I was 18, 19. I was like 15 and 16, sort of younger. I said I was atheist because I was a stupid kid.
Yeah.
And then I had a horrific car accident that I lived from, and my life changed, and I opened my mind and my heart to a lot more. But I never dove into going to a church. I was just trying to learn on my own, and I felt like the universe was talking to me. That's why I like to say that.
Yeah, man.
And then so I came to this Bible study. It's 6 years of like learning, getting involved, even thinking about getting baptized, all that. And then I get hit with, oh yeah, this guy's fucking one of his members of his church.
Would have sucked if you got baptized by him like the week prior
Oh
too, man. That
man.
would have
So
hurt.
I just said there's just so much has happened. And I don't even have time to tell you what's even happened. Then what happened in my 30s, and like there's just more to this. So
I can leave.
I'm good.
We
You
can
wanted
leave
to
it for a
ask the religion question, so I keep
we can leave
I'll
it for a
keep-
part two for another time. I would dive into that with you. My dad's a minister. I dove away. I was like the prodigals. Is it the prodigal son who runs away and then returns? He goes to party and all. I was doing psychedelics and finding my own way through all that shit, and then it's funny when you're running away, you kind of come face to face and you're like, oh shit, this is what I've been running away from. So that's kind of how I got back into it in that sense. So I'm always curious when I talk to guys, their kind of story on that.
Yeah, that's life, man. You had a journey. You went through some shit, and you learned from it. You wouldn't be who you were if you didn't go through the hardship and make the mistakes. You know, it's about making mistakes and what can you learn from it. Because there's people that make mistakes and they don't learn from it. That's the major
Mm,
difference.
that's beautiful. That is the way to be. What's your daily schedule look like? I know you're a gym owner, obviously athlete, family man. Just get up, hit the gym, training, media stuff. What's a day in the life of Ben Rothwell? Real
Yeah,
quick.
nothing exciting, man. That's
Yeah,
I'll break it down that easy.
yeah, yeah,
I'm in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I live between Chicago and Milwaukee. That's what the most exciting part of it. Because outside of that, we're a blue collar town. There's not much of anything, and you know, the gym is gives people an outlet, and that's why I got behind that. Give myself a place to train. That's what it started as. It's become so much more than that. It's changed a lot of people's lives. We laugh about how many people have met each other and got married and like things like that. We also call it Rothwell Mixed Martial Arts and Crafts because we've had funny stories with like the kids and just being more than just a martial art gym. So it's been a journey, man. And like that's obviously part of my life, training for the fights and raising. I got a little baby. She's 1.5, and I got a 3-year old. He's gonna be 4 soon, but like they're a handful. So.
nice, man. That's
They're a
awesome.
handful.
Folks can come in and sign up for classes with you guys as
Yeah,
well.
we
You
get
can
free
take classes.
trials. We have jiu-jitsu. We have kickboxing. I'm gonna soon bring in just boxing. I'm getting a request for that, and we also have a fitness class. It's a full body strength conditioning, and all that's on RothwellMMA.com.
Awesome.
Check it out. So
Awesome. Do you do seminars yourself if someone wanted to fly you out and pay you to do a thing in front of a group?
I
Just
like getting
work with
paid
one
to
on one?
do
Yeah,
appearances. That's cool.
yeah,
Seminars, even appearances. It's hard for me to get away that much.
yeah. Of course, right
Like I
now.
said, you were asking me just going to the shows, just to go to a BKFC. It's like I want to,
Yeah.
but it becomes like a big thing for me. I have to make a lot of plans and adjustments, but I'm open for anything, man. I won't
Awesome.
say no. You know,
Very cool, man.
always open to hear what people want to do.
Beautiful. Well, Ben, it is past that time. I do thank you again, man. I really do. Wanted to do this for a while now, and really, really thank you for setting that aside, dude. And we'll be following you obviously till the day you hang them up, which I
Well,
hope is fucking far, far away, man. We want to
if
see you.
I'm really slick, I'll create something real. You'll be able to follow me when I'm retired from combative sport, combat sports. I'm not going to compete in the ring no more, but I continue to do something more after. That would be something. I feel like that's the next step. Like I do something that you still follow me because I'm
Of
involved in
course,
some fashion, whether I'm promoting or something or
of course.
managing. Like, so I feel like that would be the one up because I think a lot of guys do, men and women, they get in the sport chews them up, spits them out, and
Yeah,
that's it. Never spoke or talked to of again.
yeah.
It can happen. But I feel like, yeah, when I say I put 25 years into this, I think I have lot to offer to other fighters. I feel I have a lot of knowledge to share. That's why I like Cody Lynn is just he takes so much in and he's so ahead of his time because I'm able to help him not make so many mistakes that I made and so many mistakes of other people I've been around.
Would you take like an Abel Sanchez, Freddie Roach role till the day you died in that sense, being in the gym till then?
I could. I've really enjoyed promoting. As I said, I've promoted shows,
Yep,
and bare knuckle is on the brink of being legalized here. BKFC wants to bring an event to Wisconsin very soon.
yep.
They already started the paperwork like a year and a half ago, so we're really close to doing that. Exciting news is Hard Rock is looking to build a casino a mile from where my gym is,
Oh,
and they're going to put in an arena. So that's an opportunity for me to really get into promoting, really develop fighters because I'll be able to give them a place to train. So I like to be more than just a coach. Like I said, I'd like to really set myself up with an opportunity to provide entertainment, be a promoter, help build fighters, just be more than just one of those. I feel like I could be, the general contractor of combat sports.
yeah, and like you said too earlier, right? When the fighters know you that you have good intentions from start to finish till their post career, why the fuck not, right? That's brilliant. And guys like you see Jorge Masvidal, game bred bare knuckle and MMA. They do good. They have some good cards down there as well. Junior Dos Santos fought on there. It's pretty cool, man. And again, back to Anthony Pettis as well. Getting to see this guy
Yeah,
fight
they're
on that
doing they're
card.
doing
Yeah.
great things, man. They're giving fighters opportunities. So you can't be anything but happy. You know, fighters are getting opportunities. That's a big deal.
And everyone gets an opportunity out of it. Media positions do, venues do, bartenders do. Fucking everybody wins when the fight game progresses. The sanctioning bodies do, for God's sakes. The commission, the judges, everybody gets paid. It's competition in the sense of promotions and fighting and all that, but it's in no matter what, whoever is fighting, everybody wins. It really brings everybody up.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Beautiful. Well, thank you again, Ben. We'll keep in touch, and yeah, we'd love to chat with you in the future. Maybe once that big announcement comes, that'd be pretty cool.
Cool. I appreciate the support.
Thank you, Ben. Take care, dude.
Have a great night.
You too. What last thing? Could I bug you for the laugh?
I gotta be in the mood, man.
Another time, just asking for
Wait,
another
wait, I'll
one.
try. I don't give a fuck. I'll try.
Okay, okay, okay. Ben Rothwell, ladies and
Old
gentlemen,
man
thank you
one.
so much, champ.